Welcome to Hope with Jonathan. I'm Jonathan Traylor, kidney transplant recipient. Based on my near-death experience with kidney failure, we now spotlight kidney patients' story, giving them a platform to express their personal journey with battling kidney disease, kidney failure, dialysis, waiting for kidney transplant, and much more. We share stories of hope right here on the Hope with Jonathan podcast. Hope with Jonathan podcast is a Hope Media production. Never let hope become a memory. Hope with Jonathan podcast is a Hope Media production. Hey guys, welcome back to the Hope with Jonathan podcast, and I'm your host, Jonathan Traylor. Hey guys, listen, on this week's episode of Hope with Jonathan podcast, we feature living kidney donor, Brian Martindale. What an incredible advocate for organ donation, and he shares his incredible story with giving a kidney, donating a kidney to a young girl. And man, what an incredible story of how he was led to this person. You're not going to want to miss this podcast. You're definitely going to want to listen to this heartfelt story of how he connected with the recipient, and what an incredible advocate for organ donation. And Brian right now, I believe, is on a tour where he is going out and traveling and trying to spread the message and his story about how you can live life with one kidney, and talking with people about wanting to become a donor. And there's a great need out there for organ donors, especially in the kidney space. And so we definitely need living donors. We need to have these type of stories shared so that people know that you can definitely live one life with one, or you can live with one kidney. You can live a great life with one kidney. And it's just these type of stories are proof that it's it's a ability to be done, and it's proof that it can happen. And so if you're willing out there and you come across this podcast, just know that you can definitely live life. Listen to Brian's story. Listen to how he thrives in life, living with one kidney. And I've interviewed a lot of different people that have been, on the show that have actually donated a kidney. I've interviewed quite a few, and Brian's story really stuck with me, in regards to who he donated to and how he come across his donor or his recipient. Listen, guys, I really appreciate all the support for Hope with Jonathan podcast, and we've really been enjoying these audio podcasts. I really believe that these audio podcasts are great to come back through and re-release, after we go live with these. And even though this was months ago, it really doesn't matter. I really appreciate all the support, and I really believe that these can be effective. So we really appreciate your support again. Thanks again for checking out the YouTube channel at Hope with Jonathan. And if you subscribe, make sure that you hit the bell. You'll be notified of all of our great content that comes your way. And yes, I say it's great because each story is amazing. And like I said, we share stories of hope. So I really appreciate all the support. You guys have been amazing. Please go check out our website as well, hopewithjonathan.com. You guys take care, stay safe, and definitely take care of your kidneys. God bless. This is Jonathan. Hey guys, have you been over to hopewithjonathan.com? You can actually listen to the audio podcast watch live streaming interviews, purchase merch to help support Hope with Jonathan podcast, read blogs, and much, much more. For more information on this, go check out hopewithjonathan.com, where we share stories of hope. Hey guys, welcome back to Hope with Jonathan, and I'm your host, Jonathan Traylor. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning in to the Hope with Jonathan podcast. Tonight, guys, we are going to feature living kidney donor Brian Martindale. That's right, guys, a living kidney donor going to be right here on our podcast featured tonight. And many of you out there may have questions about becoming a living kidney donor. Maybe you've thought about it, or maybe you've inquired about it. Maybe you've had reservations about becoming a living kidney donor. Well, tonight we're going to talk with a living kidney donor that can answer some of these questions for you, maybe dismiss some myths, and tell you what it's like, a real life experience with battling, for someone that is a living kidney donor. Guys, listen, people that are out there that are living on dialysis and qualify for a transplant, they're looking for someone to donate to them a living organ. Most of the time, it's for kidney donation. There are situations where people can donate their liver, but in our situation, we're going to be talking about kidney donation. And so for those of you out there that have questions and want to know about being a living kidney donor, you came to the right place, because tonight, guys, we have an incredible guest all the way from the state of Michigan, Mr. Brian Martindale. He's an very incredible advocate. We became friends just backstage. We were talking about music, and he's got an incredible personality, guys. He's got his own apparel line. We'll get into that, where he sells graphic T-shirts. So we'll get into that and talk about that. But guys, again, really appreciate for all the support for Hope with Jonathan. Appreciate everyone tuning in tonight and coming across his show. I know Jared Brown with the Warriors Quest Show has popped in here. So shout out to the Warriors Quest Show for coming on and supporting Hope with Jonathan. You guys go check them out as well over on YouTube. Subscribe to their channel. Also check out the Urban Health Outreach Media network over on YouTube. And I'll go ahead and throw in Steve the Kidney Nurse. We'll throw him in there as well. He's incredible advocate for kidney disease. But guys, listen, tonight we're going to feature Brian. We're going to bring him on, and I just thought it would be a great show. It's a great topic. I know many kidney warriors out there that are right now in need of a kidney, and they would gratefully accept someone to step up to be a living kidney donor. And I'm not going to waste much more time. I'm going to go ahead and bring on our special guest tonight, all the way, guys, from the state of Michigan, Mr. Brian Martindale. Well, let's welcome him to Hope with Jonathan.
Shake it, baby.
Hey, Brian. Welcome.
Hey, Jonathan.
Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
No problem at all. Hey, Brian, I reached out to you by way, I think, of Facebook. I'm not really sure where we connected, but we've been kind of became friends over social media. So we've connected by way of social media. And,
Yep.
I seen that you were a living kidney donor. and I wanted to bring you on the show tonight and kind of talk with you a little bit. So why don't you introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and maybe if you have family, married with children, all that stuff.
Okay. First, my name's Brian Martindale. I live in Bay City, Michigan, which is in the center part of the state. I'm married to my wonderful wife, Wendy, now for 5 years.
Hmm.
And you spoke of my apparel business. Yes, I own a clothing brand called Karma Inc. Apparel.
Hmm.
Um, and actually, that you'll find out in this story, this brand of mine led me to becoming a kidney donor.
Okay.
if, if you can imagine that. If it wasn't for this in certain meetings, because of these shirts and the clothing I produce, I wouldn't be sitting here a kidney donor today.
Yeah, that kind of leads into my next question for you. Was what got you interested in wanting to be a living kidney donor? You know, a lot of people, it just doesn't like fall into their brain one day and say, "Hey, I want to be a living kidney donor."
No, before I met my friend who I was originally going to be a paired donor for, I really had not known anybody throughout my lifetime close to me that was battling kidney disease to the point where they were on dialysis or, had suffered renal failure or worse. Um, but what led me to wanting to do this down this road was in 2010. I had just started this clothing business the year before in 2009 with my son. And I was approaching different musicians. I had some friends already in the music industry, asking him, would you wear my shirts during your shows? All of my clothing is about kindness, unity, equality. And then we take 20% of profit and we give it to a different charity every month.
Oh, cool.
Well, one of the bands I had written to through another musician friend was the band Tantric. Tantric was a huge rock band and still is around playing today, but they were very big in the 90s when they came out. And I wrote directly to Hugo Ferreira, the lead singer, and they were going to have a show in our town. And about 2 hours before the show on that night, my phone rang, and this was Hugo Ferreira on the other end of the phone, saying that he loved the premise of my shirts and what I was doing, and would I come down to the show as his guest that night, which I gladly accepted. And after watching the show and coming backstage for the meet and greet, um, I was introduced by Hugo and his drummer, Kevin Figueredo, who wore my apparel that night, to a young man uh, named Brett Laframboise, who needed a kidney at the time.
Oh,
And
wow.
Hugo had introduced me for the purpose of Brett, at the time we met, didn't have any kind of medical insurance. He'd
Mhm.
already been at that point on dialysis, I believe, for about 3 to 4 years, and was trying to get into a kidney program at one of the universities here in Michigan, or any
Uh-huh.
place that would, or any hospital that had a transplant program that would accept him.
Uh-huh.
So um, I was not asked at that point about donating a kidney. I became friends with Brent, and the premise was we were going to design, with Hugo's permission, a shirt with the Tantric logo, along with our logo, and come up with a catchy phrase or a catchy graphic that we would sell and raise money
Sure.
for Brent.
Sure.
That was the first idea. Well, in the months following, this was 2010, going into early 2011, I
Hmm.
had spent a lot of time with Brent by that point, and I'd seen up close, for the first time, what somebody like Brent had gone through. The 3 time a week dialysis. Brent at the time had already suffered total renal failure twice and survived.
Wow.
Yeah, and so research, me studying up on things, me spending all this time with Brent, um, it just made me think about how fortunate I was, in life to have never experienced any kind of, major illness or anything.
Sure.
More I thought about it, and the more we talked and I got to know him, I realized I wanted to help him. Something inside of here was saying, I've got to help him somehow.
Yeah.
I knew I didn't match him in blood type. And at the time, I wasn't familiar with a paired donation. I read up on it and found out I could donate to a person and basically give Brent his credit, and then he would receive the next kidney that matched him coming down
Sure.
the line because
And
I had donated to somebody I matched.
okay, and you're referring to the paired exchange program?
Paired exchange program. We at
Uh-huh.
the University of Michigan, where I'm a peer mentor now, we just call it paired donation, or we did call it paired donation program at the time. So without Brent's knowledge, I contacted the University of Michigan and I asked to be tested for Brent,
Mm-hmm.
and that I wanted to be his paired donor. And within a couple weeks, I was scheduled. Went through a battery of tests, head to toe, everything
Right.
you need, including seeing. You have to see a psychologist too. That was something that
Yep.
was that I did not know that obviously
Yep.
receiving a kidney
Yep.
because
They
you
put
need
you
to be.
through the same rigorous testing for the
Yes.
transplant recipients. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, because as a donor, you have to be ready, just like a recipient. If I
Absolutely.
donate my kidney and it fails, how are you going to
Mm-hmm.
react and how are you going to feel about that?
Yeah.
Well, I passed every test with flying colors, and within 2 weeks we had the results, and I notified Brent on my own that I had tested for him and I was able to be a paired donor, and he was over the moon. He couldn't believe that I'd done that on his behalf.
Yeah.
Um, that spring, just a couple months later, you know, we were joyed about me being able to go forward and be a paired in his paired program.
Sure.
Um, I organized a concert with some friends in music that featured Mark Farner, the former lead singer of Grand Funk Railroad, in our city. We have a nice concert venue. And along with the supporting cast, that concert benefited the University of Michigan Transplant Center.
Uh-huh.
Brent and I put that, helped organize that and put that on with the help
Yeah.
of the venue. Um, so that went well to help other people that needed kidneys. But shortly after that concert, um, it was about 2 months later, um, Brent called me and told me that a doctor of his had put him on a medication, I believe, for pain, which when the University of Michigan program found out that he had been on, they disqualified him from the program.
Oh, wow.
So here we were in mid 2011 now, and here we were, now he didn't have a program that he was in, and we were going to start all over again.
Oh, wow.
So in the coming months, we both made calls, searched, tried to find other ways to get him in other programs, but we ultimately found out because of that disqualification, he wasn't going to be allowed in anybody else's program for a period of a couple years.
Oh, no.
He had to prove he was free and clear of this uh, particular drug that he was put on. So that was actually the fault of a physician.
You have a clue of what that drug was?
No, I do not. I just remember he told me it was a medication for pain,
Okay.
and it had to be, something that was, I like to say, unapproved from the transplant program that he should have never been on in the first place, and especially a doctor knowing he was in
Yeah.
line for a kidney transplant should have never put him on.
Yeah. It,
So,
let me ask you a question. So
sure,
you're at a rock concert, right? You meet with the lead singer of Tantric,
yes,
and all of a sudden he's talking to you about a guy that needs a kidney,
yes,
and you find yourself in a peculiar kind of conversation that's not a normal conversation that a lot of people never get introduced to.
right.
At what point did you did it hit you, or was you ever thinking like, man, I don't know about this, or I'm really nervous and apprehensive, even though your mind, because you said that something hit you here in the heart, and
Yeah,
so and started speaking to you to say, hey, you know what, I want to help this guy.
yeah.
Did you have any points of apprehension or any points of like, man, am I nuts? Am I crazy?
Well, I'd be lying if I said I didn't.
Okay.
Because it was something I was unfamiliar with. I mean, you know that you have two kidneys, but just being in the first stages of education about becoming a kidney donor,
Yeah.
I didn't know, as healthy as I was, I had a spare. And you're able, if you're a healthy person like I am, and I was at that time, that you can share that spare with somebody else
Yeah.
and, lead a normal life like I do. And
Right.
then in turn, the person like you would lead a normal life with my other kidney.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. That's a
so I,
that's a great point because that's a myth that a lot of people have reservations about, especially whenever I was in my donor search. A
yeah,
lot of people I would tell that I needed a kidney, they were kind of like, if I give you my kidney, then I'm gonna get sick or something's gonna happen to me. And
exactly,
I had to try to explain to them, no, you can live life with one kidney. So
exactly.
great point, Brian.
Yeah. And that's, I had to I talked to my son. I wasn't married at the time. Uh, and, close friends and the doctors at the University of Michigan. I had always been a fan of the university, and I trusted everybody there because growing up, I had a relative that managed part of the University of Michigan. So if I was going to donate any place in my mind, it was going to be there because I knew I
Yeah.
would get the best care in the world. So once I did my due diligence, talk to people and everything, my apprehension went away. I just knew that God had sent me on this mission to meet this
Hmm.
person, and it was going to be my duty.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally believe in that. The way that I look at it, when someone offers a kidney, or if you get offered a kidney, it's divine intervention. Like God sends these angels into your life, and uh,
Yes.
that's exactly what happened to me. The family that direct donated to me, I was direct donated to.
Okay.
It was an unfortunate situation that turned into a beautiful situation because he signed the back of his driver's license to be a donor. And because of that, I was able to receive his kidney by way of direct donation. He lived in a completely different state,
Yep.
and they were able to send me that kidney. They put it on an airplane and sent it down here to Texas. And right now, I'm rocking life with one kidney because someone stepped up and signed up to be a donor.
That's
If it
right.
had not been for that, I believe I would still possibly be waiting. I can't really say that would be for sure, but more than likely because of the wait time for an O kidney, I
Which
probably
is
would still be wait. Here in San Antonio, it's around 6 to 8 years,
for an
and
oak
so
kidney.
yeah, for an O kidney.
Yeah, which
So
is the hardest to get. I mean, you're a universal donor if you're an O, but you
yeah,
have to receive, from an O.
yeah,
So
it's the most common blood type, and then it pairs with A blood type, B blood type, AB. So when an O kidney comes available, they're just gone
I know,
that quick. So
I know. I
yeah,
many of the people I either counsel or on my own try to help find donors for through my social media. I use my clothing business to do that as well. So many people, right away they're type O and they're
yeah,
having the hardest time.
exactly. But back to the guy that you were initially going to donate to. Did he eventually get a kidney?
Brent eventually got a kidney in 2019. Um, actually, 2018. I'm sorry. By that time, Brent had been on dialysis, what, about 12 years in the usual, dialysis, the average person is on dialysis 5 to 10 years, or lives on dialysis 5 to 10 years.
Right.
Well, Brent had been on it longer because of all the delay. He ended up receiving a cadaver kidney, a
Uh-huh.
direct donation,
Uh-huh.
and he rocked his kidney. I mean, for 18 months, Brent was only in his 30s, late 30s, and was enjoying life and living in northern Michigan, working independently, living independently for the first time in umpteen years. And this last February, Brent passed.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, Brent's heart gave out.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't COVID. We thought at first when he was found, it was something to do with COVID, because of at that point, there weren't, when he passed, the vaccine wasn't out yet. And it turned out to be from his heart. His heart had, taken so much of a strain from the years of battling kidney disease.
Yeah, that's one of the things that a lot of people need to recognize, especially with being a kidney patient. If you're on dialysis and your kidneys have failed, it is imperative that you take care of your cardiovascular system, because
Yep.
more than likely your heart is what's going to get hit next if it hasn't already been affected.
Yep.
And so it's important that you incorporate and try to adhere to the renal diet and try to get out there and do some exercise, even though you don't feel like it. I know firsthand.
Yeah.
Dialysis is draining. It sucks. It makes you want to sleep. But on those days when you have the strength, the next day, get out
Yeah.
there and try to do some walking. I used to walk on my off days of dialysis. When I was doing in-center dialysis, I would use my off days to get out and walk, and I would try to walk anywhere between a mile and 2 miles when I was on in-center. I switched over to home hemo, and that made me feel like a whole new person. We'll talk about that on another podcast, but I'm just dropping this little bit of this is a freebie. If you're a kidney patient and you're not exercising, you definitely need to incorporate
Yes.
some form of exercise to help take care of your cardiovascular system, because unfortunately this warrior ended up passing due to the stress that the years of doing dialysis, I'm sure, and the stress that kidney disease also affects the heart, and then you have cardiovascular disease, from high cholesterol or eating a poor diet. So
Yep.
it can definitely take a toll on that. But man, so incredible information. What are some myths about being a kidney donor that you know of that you can dismiss?
Well, the first one you brought up, living with one kidney, people told me, when I did end up donating, and I'll get to that later, I had people on social media, you know, um, putting me down for being a kidney donor, saying the person you're going to donate to doesn't deserve a kidney, just horrible things. I mean, I can't believe, how people could be that way about somebody who needs a life-saving organ. It was my business that I was donating to that person, and to I go on social media and say, just unkind and unwarranted things about becoming a kidney donor. I just couldn't believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as living, I'm living proof. I will celebrate our 9-year anniversary. The person that is my recipient and I will celebrate that on January 11th next week. That'll be 9 years. And you can see I have worked in the trades for many years, doing heavy work, construction, as well as running my clothing business, and being a full-time husband and grandfather, and running with my grandkids and everything. And I stay in good shape. I walk all the time. Nothing has changed. Uh, my golf game got a little better. I think that was divine intervention.
Well, but the thing is Brian, though, like you still use the bathroom, and it's okay to
Exactly.
be on open on this show because we talk
Yeah.
a little bit about everything.
Yeah.
So
No,
you're still urinating well,
yeah,
uh,
nothing's changed there.
and
No,
you're able to work a job,
I'm able to work a heavy job,
and
you know, long hours,
you're married.
and I'm
You're
married.
married to a wife, and you have children already,
Yep.
and
Yep. My
so.
son is 36. Yep.
And so you're living, it sounds like you're living just, a normal life, even though
I,
you donated a kidney.
I'm doing all the same things I did, with two kidneys. I'm doing them now with one, but nothing has changed in my bodily functions.
Hmm.
In any way anything works in my body, put it that way. I'm still physically able to do everything on my own
Yeah.
without any help. Um,
Yeah.
so that those kind of myths that you're going to need a kidney someday. I get that. What if this kidney fails? Well, that's part of faith right there.
Right.
I have faith that I was born with two strong kidneys. All
Hmm.
my tests showed that my kidneys, both sides, were in good shape.
Hmm.
So why not? Knowing that I can live with one, knowing that within a few weeks, the one kidney left will take over and up its function to,
Yeah.
compensate for the missing kidney.
And
And
from what
it,
I've read about that, the kidney, the one that is left over that they choose not to donate, it actually grows a little bit in size to kind of
yes,
compensate for the other kidney. And
right,
so, yeah.
as well as upping itself in function. But I
Hmm.
have had absolutely no problems to do with anything that kidney would affect in your body at all
Yeah.
in 9 years.
Awesome,
And
man. That's awesome.
and for the most part, that is true with all kidney donors. If you look at the percentages of
Yeah.
successes and failures, it's a very, very, very minute percentage that a kidney donor has problems later on or has
Yeah.
kidney disease, especially later on. That would be
Yeah,
very unusual.
I had another living donor on here. She's an author. You may know her, Brenda Cortez.
I've heard
She
of her. Yes.
Okay, yeah. She has How the Owl. She does that, helping others
Yep.
with love, and
Yep.
she's an amazing advocate for organ donation, donate life. She's an author. I mean, she's a really great person, but she's a living kidney donor, and she said the same thing that you're saying. She's hasn't had any medical issues from it, and she's rocking life with one kidney. So
That's right.
you definitely can do it, and you're another witness of it, Brian. So, Brian, let me ask you a question. In what ways can we impact lives by becoming a living kidney donor?
Well, how you can impact life is number one. When we get to, uh, I'll tell you about my recipient and how the rest of the story goes. But number one, giving a person back, like you said, a normal life where the person isn't on dialysis 3 times a week or 7 times a week, like you were with home dialysis. Most patients at home, I know, are on 7 days.
Yeah,
Um, because it's you're purifying less volume at a time than you are in a dialysis center, but you're in your home setting, like you had said.
yeah,
Um, but you're giving a person a second chance,
right.
to live out the years that they were supposed to live in the first place that God granted them,
Yep.
and to do everything. Just
Yeah.
it gets to me sometimes. Sorry,
It's
but
okay. Not a problem.
I just wanted to give life, plain and
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many warriors out there that I know that right now would, oh man, they would be so grateful to be released from the burden of having to do dialysis. It would just ultimately change. It would be a life changer. It would
Yeah,
totally impact their life.
if more people saw what people on dialysis with kidney disease had to go through in their daily lives, actually saw it up close and experienced it like I did, there would be more kidney donors. We wouldn't have approximately 98,000 people today in the United States that need kidneys. And people don't realize, like I said about dialysis, the average is 5 to 10 years, and we lose an average of 14 people every day
Yeah.
who are waiting on a kidney that don't make it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I believe it was last week we lost, unfortunately, TJ Sikowski, who I interviewed on my show here. He was interviewed by many others on Jared's show, The Warrior's Quest,
Yeah,
some others. He was advocated for by Jared's brother, Jeff. And I mean, man, look, he was such a warrior. He was always engaged in his advocacy and sharing that he needed a kidney.
yeah,
And unfortunately, he ended up passing. And it's sad, man, because he's one of the statistics, like you said. I think it's like 12 to 14 people die daily, waiting. Over
yep,
100,000 people waiting on a life-saving organ, and a majority of that is kidney patients. And
yeah, exactly,
yeah,
exactly. About 90% of people waiting on living organs are waiting for kidneys. The
yeah,
rest would be liver and heart and lungs and other
pain,
transplantable
yeah,
organs.
pancreas, eye,
Pancreas,
skin, tissue, whatever. Yeah, it's
right.
yeah.
But
So
kidney is the biggest thing, and
yeah,
and and like I say, people, unless they're in a relationship, they have a family member or somebody close to them that is going through this, they really can't tell me that they understand what a person goes through. And if they were in that situation, that they would obviously want somebody to come forward for them.
yeah. Yeah, we got to change the narrative in this world about being an organ donor. And kidney disease education,
Yeah.
because there's just not enough of it. Unfortunately for me, I was a type 2 diabetic for years and hypertensive. I didn't control it very well. And
Hmm.
when I got diagnosed with diabetes, they handed me a pamphlet and kind of told me a little bit about the effects. But most people take a pamphlet home and kind of look at it and then put it in a drawer somewhere. It
Never see it
doesn't,
again.
it doesn't stick to them. It doesn't stay within them.
Right.
And over the years, you become coarse to it and things like that. And then it just, and then kidney disease was never even thought about until it happened to me. Kidney
Right.
disease. And then I had a near death experience with kidney failure. So,
Just like Brent. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
we got to change the narrative on education and prevention and organ donation. Man, we got to make being an organ donor cool, right?
Exactly.
Uh, and it's got to be something that people get behind in a movement. And hey, it's cool to be an organ donor. Are you an organ donor? Because it's the cool thing to do, and it's the right thing to do. It's the most humane thing that we can do. I believe that
There
God
you
God is pleased with people that definitely step up to be a hero, and that's what you are, Brian. You're a hero. You're a hero to so many people.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
you really are. You really are, man. What a great story. We got a lot of people chiming in really quickly. Thelma Warner. Thelma is a kidney warrior, guys, that is in need of a kidney right now on dialysis. She's located in Atlanta, Georgia. She's registered, I believe, at Piedmont Hospital there in Atlanta, Georgia. She's been on my show. She's been on many different people's shows as well, advocating for a kidney. Thelma is an incredible warrior. She's also had a heart transplant, Brian.
Oh my.
Yeah,
I'm reading her comment now, and
yeah,
yeah, people just don't know,
yeah.
like she's saying.
She's a great warrior. She's got a great attitude, always positive.
Mhm.
But she needs a kidney, and so we definitely want to talk about that really quickly while she's showing up here to support our show. We want to tell everybody a little bit about Thelma Warner, and
Sure.
she's got a Facebook page over there on Facebook. Thelma Needs a Kidney. You can reach out to her over there on Facebook, and Thelma Warner, guys, Atlanta, Georgia. She's registered, like I said, at Piedmont Hospital there in Atlanta. Thelma, if you would want to, you can write in if you're registered at any other location now. The last time that I knew of, you were registered at Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta. Brian, so if someone wanted to step up and be a living donor, maybe they were interested in it, or maybe they were inquiring about it. How do you get that process going? How do you get that going?
Well, you get it going by, contacting on behalf of the person that needs a kidney that you want to help. You get that going by contacting the transplant center that they're registered at. Usually, is the usual process. Or if you're, if this is a family member or somebody you're close to, and you've offered to be their donor, then yes, then together you would contact their transplant hospital and say, I want to donate for this person. I want to be tested. And people don't realize too that when you're tested and you go through the kidney donation process, everything is paid for by the transplant center or the patient, the person you're donating to, their insurance. There's no
Exactly.
out of pocket cost. You have to be able to be off work between 2 and 6 weeks, depending on your recovery time. You do have to be able to do that financially. Financially, that's why some people dismiss themselves from becoming a donor, because they can't afford to be off of work for a period of time. And that's something we've got to change too.
Yeah.
If you're willing to come forward and give part of your living body to somebody else, and it's stopped because of cost, of living or something just so minute as that, as compared to saving a life, that has to be changed.
Oh,
You know,
right. Yeah,
by
and I think
insurance
they were
companies.
trying to fix that with the Living Donor Act, which
Yes, the
would,
Living Donor Act is
yeah.
supposed to fix that. Yes, and
Hmm.
we need that to come through,
Yeah.
because I believe if that comes about and passes, the living organ donation as far as kidneys would increase greatly. If people knew that they were going to be secure to be able to rest and then go back to work without having to worry about paying,
Yeah.
2 to 6 weeks, or maybe even a couple more in cases,
Yeah.
of cost of living, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that whole
Exactly.
that holds way too many people back. Just that factor alone.
Oh yeah, you got to give people some financial peace of mind, knowing that they're not going to lose their job, or their insurance benefits. And then, like you mentioned, that the patient's insurance picks up the bill for
Ex-
the testing, the procedure,
Yep.
but it doesn't cover things like hotel expenses. Now, I do know of an organization that you can actually reach out to that helps cover things like this. The name of the organization is slipping my mind, but I seen it on an interview that
I know what I know which one you're talking about,
okay. Yep.
and I was connected with it shortly after I donated.
Hmm.
I didn't receive any assistance or anything, but
Hmm.
I remember. I wish I could recall the name off the top of my head, but I
Hmm.
I shared it many times,
Yep.
in advocating, in
Yep.
talking about living organ donation. That don't let this hold you back, because there are organizations. There's more than one, but there's one I know we're both thinking about that
Yeah.
will help you with the
Yep.
the smaller cost of hotel or
Yeah.
travel
Yeah.
expenses,
Yep.
or
And
things
all
like
you have to do is prove that you're doing it, receipt, maybe a statement from a doctor and all that
that.
stuff, and they'll help you out. But Thelma chimed back in. She's actually registered now at Mayo. I'm not sure exactly which one or where that's exactly located at, but MUSC. So that's in South Carolina.
Yeah. Yep.
And then UAB, Alabama, Birmingham. So
Okay.
she's now registered at quite a few places.
Well,
And I
Thelma,
believe, yeah,
may I
Thelma
give you
Warner.
my best? Thelma,
Yeah.
while you're listening, I give you my best wishes, and I'll be praying for you.
Oh, that's amazing. And she's also working in Georgetown. So I don't know if she's working on getting listed somewhere else or what. But man, that's a lot of locations. And so hoping, praying that a donor or even a cadaver kidney would come your way soon. But
Yes, Thelma.
So she's commenting here. I get a lot of people from other countries wanting to donate, but most are asking for money or want to immigrate here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I see a lot of that coming through social media,
Yep.
and I
See
have
that a lot.
to. Yeah, you see it a lot. Unfortunately, you can't trust it, or unfortunately, the United States doesn't accept organs from other
Right.
countries, and
Right.
so even if it was a legitimate deal, they can't do it because of that situation.
Yeah.
I don't know in the future if the United States or even the world could come together and figure out a world system for organ transplantation. And I'm kind of the mindset of like, why not figure that out?
Yeah, exactly. I
If
mean,
what's
yeah, we
it
need to figure a
matter?
lot of things.
Yeah, what's it matter where the kidney comes from if it came from Europe or Africa or Ireland or India, as long as it's
Exactly.
a healthy kidney and
Exactly.
it's going to help benefit. So why not be able to transplant that from a different country? I think it would help. I think it would benefit. That's my personal opinion. But maybe the world, I don't know. I can't speak on the behalf of the world, but
Yeah.
or the government, but
Yeah. First of all, we have to learn to get along in many different ways before I think something like that happens. But it's something that obviously makes too much sense if we could all work together,
yeah,
with this
yeah,
and get enough people to see what organ donation, kidney donation especially, does for people that our living organ donors would greatly increase worldwide, let
yeah.
alone in the United States.
Exactly, exactly. Well, hey Brian, the name of the show is Hope with Jonathan, and believe it or not, we're nearing getting close to our hour here
May I
with the
may I tell
time.
you about the person that received my kidney?
Absolutely, please share that with us.
Okay, well, after after Brent had found out that he was ineligible for a program, he had given me his blessing to go ahead. Please help somebody else that needs a kidney.
Sure,
So that later in 2011, I actually, through a friend, I had met the son of a famous Motown singer who needed a kidney, and I ended up flying out to Los Angeles and staying with this son of the Motown singer. I won't identify because of privacy reasons.
sure,
I stayed with him and his wife at their home in Los Angeles. I was tested again at UCLA, and I went through my tests okay, but this person was held back for different health reasons, not a medication like Brent, but just different health reasons temporarily. And again, that person gave me a blessing. You know, I appreciate what you're trying to do for me, but please help somebody that needs a kidney now.
sure.
So 2012 comes around. August, I was building a store myself, an actual storefront in our town here in Bay City, Michigan, for my clothing. And
Sure.
on the last day of building, I I had formerly years before been a cigarette smoker. Thank God I had quit long before it had harmed me in any way. Uh, After that, I chewed gum a lot, and I was out of gum.
Okay.
And there's a store 3 blocks away in our downtown from where I built my store. I walked over there to get this pack of gum, and here on the counter, on the front of the newspaper, was a lady holding up a big pink sign on construction, made out of construction paper. And it said, "My daughter is in need of a kidney. I cannot lose her. Please help."
Wow.
She stood in front of our Walmart across from the big shopping mall we have here in our town, and with that sign all day. And people stopped and offered her money. And two people, which she didn't want any part of, she wanted a kidney for her daughter. And two other people had said, "Yeah, we'll consider, testing." Well, the story, as I read through it after I got back to the store, I found myself reading through it 2, 3, 5 times. I read it again that night.
Hmm.
The next day, I made a phone call to the number that was in that story, and by then it had also been on the television stations in our area too.
Hmm.
And I did not identify myself again, but this was the mother of the young lady I will tell you now that I donated to. And I just had to know, first of all, what was her blood type. And it was an A positive blood type, which is mine.
Wow.
So I knew I could be a direct donor.
Wow.
Then something hit me like a ton of bricks falling over my head when she told me that just that I was a blood match for her daughter. And seeing this picture, I wish I would have brought it down. Here was this little, at the time, 10-year-old girl, very white and frail looking, as she appeared in the picture. They had just had a benefit for her. And she had a crown on and looked like a little princess, but she looked so frail. I thought about it and thought about it, talked with family members, and then I recontacted the University of Michigan. Just happened she was in that program too. And I said, I need to be tested for this little girl. I know I'm a blood type, and I have a feeling that I'm the one. 2 weeks later, again, I went through the testing. Again, I passed it. And then it was the day before Thanksgiving of 2012 that they got a call that they had a living donor for Jessica. So, uh, Stacy, Jessica's mother, said she screamed so loud that I should have heard her because I live 4 blocks away.
I bet.
And we had not met. We did not know each other. But a friend of mine that had formerly worked for CNN asked if she could do an interview with Jessica and her mother after the story was in the paper that a donor had been found. They did not know the donor's name or by identity at the time, but she wanted to interview Jessica and her mom about knowing that she was going to be receiving a kidney and what it was, what they were, what it was like to know that finally that they had a donor for her.
Yeah.
And that person asked after the interview if they would like to meet me. And then we were introduced by my friend, the reporter. And this was just, that was in the first part of December. And then 4 weeks later, on January 11th of 2013, we were given a ride together in a limousine donated by my friend's business down to Ann Arbor, Michigan, to the University of Michigan. And the next day, January 11th, she received my kidney that morning. And I got to see her. That was on a Friday. And I was wheeled over. The University of Michigan Transplant Center is connected by a tunnel or a bridge, I should say, to the CS Mott Children's Hospital. And I was wheeled over on Sunday to see her. And it was like seeing a different person. I mean, she was still the same size, but her skin color was there, like mine.
Wow.
She had skin tone. She wasn't pale white anymore.
Yeah.
She was asking, the first thing she woke up, when she woke up, Stacy, her mother, told me was, first of all, she asked, is Brian's kidney mine now? And then right afterwards, she asked for a baked potato because she hadn't been able to have any kind of baked potato. You know how many things you can't have when you're on dialysis.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that was the first thing in the world that she wanted to taste was a baked potato.
Oh,
So I got to spend a couple hours with her that day, and we've been as close as siblings, ever since. We celebrate every year with a dinner and visitation. We see each other during the year quite a lot. Jessica is about to turn 20 now. She's going to be starting college. She lost a year in fourth grade. She was held back when she was on, when she was sick with kidney disease. So she graduated a year late. But yeah, she'll be starting college this year. And at 20, going to be 20, she's in perfect health. She's had no complications. And she's as tall as me, and long hair. She's a beautiful girl, very smart, and full of life, like she should be at that age.
oh, Brian, I think you went back and answered the question that I asked you before about how we can impact lives by becoming a living kidney donor. You've definitely impacted her life, and you've changed the outcome of her life. Amazing, man. Amazing story. Incredible, man.
Thank you, John.
I'm actually kind of lost for words just listening to it because I think about all the warriors out there that are in need, that are just waiting for a
I know.
story, their story to happen, just like this. And just, man, what an incredible, impactful story. I'm so glad that you shared that with us, because that is the definition of how you can impact of life, by
Exactly.
becoming a living kidney donor. And I thank you for coming on and sharing your incredible story
You're
with
very
us.
welcome, Jonathan. If I had the chance, I would do it again for all of you people out there that need kidneys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's such a gift. What a gift of life. So it's, you know, but you know what, Brian, I want to close this show out with some words of hope for those out there
Sure.
that maybe are inquiring or thinking about
Mhm.
becoming a donor. Maybe they're a family member and they're contemplating donating to another family member, or maybe they're a friend, or maybe there's just someone out there that wants to give altruistically, just
Yes.
just wants to give a kidney to someone to help, and they don't want to know where or any of that. There's people out there like
Yep.
that have done it
Yep.
many
I
times.
know people that are altruistic donors.
Yeah. So, what kind of words of hope or inspiration could you leave with them, or encouragement, that those that are maybe contemplating on being a living kidney donor?
Well, number one, becoming a living kidney donor will change your life forever. You will never be the same person. You'll feel more. Um, you'll care more. Um, your just whole life, the way you live it, will be impacted. There's nothing more unselfish you could do as a living person than give part of your life to someone else. So there's hope for all of you that need a kidney. There are other people like myself and like the other people that have donated that will reach a point in their life, something that'll wake them up. Maybe seeing somebody, knowing somebody, reading a story, seeing something on TV, seeing Jonathan's podcast that will give them this urge to want to help. They're out there. They're out there. They just have to be awoken, like I
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
So have hope. There's somebody out there that you just have to find that person, or that person has to find you, or the divine intervention has to happen between the two to connect you.
yes.
Whatever it may be, don't ever give up hope.
Amen to that, brother. That's my mantra. That's my motto. That's what I'm screaming out to everyone. Don't never give
Yes.
up on hope.
Never give up hope.
And then, and I believe completely, wholeheartedly, 100% in the power of destination and divine intervention. And I believe that God allowed you to pass by that lady holding that sign. That was definitely divine intervention. You were
Yeah.
led over there, whether
I
you,
was led to that store to see that newspaper, to
yeah,
read that story. There's no other, nobody can change my mind about that. I ran out of
yeah,
gum that day for a reason, to go over to that
yeah,
store to see that, or I might have never known. I might have missed the news story on TV. I might have never known about
yeah.
Jessica.
That's how God works, though. That's it. He works in the little things, the things that are small to us. We don't we You wasn't thinking about, that when you went to go get a pack of gum at the store, but
No,
he led you there for
exactly.
that purpose. And so we have to be open and willing to listen and hear that voice that speaks to our heart. It says, "Hey, you need to reach out and help this person, and step up and be a donor to them and help them out, change the course of their life." And that's what you did, Brian. What an
And it will
incredible interview.
and it will come back to you. Karma, when they talk, you usually, my clothing brand is Karma Inc. Apparel. When usually people talk about karma, it's kidding about something, bad, or,
Sure.
but you're creating good karma for yourself. You can't imagine the good things that have happened to me since, without, me wanting anything or asking for anything,
Yep.
blessed with my grandchildren, blessed with my wife, my marriage. I just can't tell you how many things I've been blessed with since I donated.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Yep. God will definitely bless you. Absolutely, for sure. for listening to that still small voice. But guys, listen, this has been such an impactful interview.
It
Lots of
has for me
great,
too.
lots of great information shared. Lots of emotion, lots of passion. As you could tell, Brian's very passionate about his story.
Yes,
It's
I
just
am.
it's yeah, and you know what? It's something to be proud of. I'm passionate as well about my story as well. Guys, I want you to go over and check out his website. What's the name of the website again, Brian?
Karma Inc. Apparel. You can either use karmainc.org or karmainc.net.
Okay.
All of my branded shirts, hoodies, and other apparel you'll see on there. All of the designs promote kindness, unity, equality, diversity, and 20% of our profits go to charity every month. And you can read about that charity on the charities page right now. It's a nonprofit that helps cancer victims directly.
Awesome. That's amazing, man. Thanks again for being an amazing human being, amazing person.
Thank you,
um,
Jonathan.
yeah.
Thank you for your friendship.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I knew once I met you behind stage, we started talking, we kind of instantly sort of connected. And
Yeah,
throughout the course of this podcast, I've realized our connection is a divine one. I can feel it. So it's a great, you have an impactful story. And I believe this podcast, if we could just reach the masses, this story could change a lot of lives. It could also help inspire some other people that maybe are on the fringe of wanting to and teeter-totting on deciding on becoming a living kidney donor. That maybe they'll change their mind and become one. And maybe this podcast would encourage that for them.
that's my hope too. That's why I came on. I'm hoping I can inspire at least one other person to become a kidney donor, if not several.
Yeah. Hey guys, again, we really appreciate all your support for Hope with Jonathan and our podcast. Thanks again for tuning in. Again, guys, Thelma Warner needs a kidney over on Facebook. Go check that Facebook page out. She's in desperate need, guys, of a kidney. I'm so glad that she showed up and engaged with us. Jared Brown with the Warriors Quest Show. Thanks again, brother, for your support. Your support has just been so invaluable to me. Jared had me on his show early on when I needed a kidney. And I really appreciate his support for having me on when I needed a kidney. He had me on, and then not too many weeks later, I was direct donated to and got my kidney transplant, my gift of life. And he had me back on the show, and I kind of talked about my story on that. So that was back in 2020, but not too long ago. But
Not too long ago.
yeah, but Jared, man, I really appreciate all the support. He's really one of the main influencers that really got me in the mindset of wanting to start a podcast. Him and Steve Belcher with the Urban Health Outreach Media Network. Those two guys, the advocacy that they were doing, I wanted to do something just like what they were doing, and so that's why I started Hope with Jonathan.
You're doing a
And
wonderful job, Jonathan. You're in wonderful service and helping other people and getting the word out and connecting, hopefully, donors and with recipients. Just keep doing what you're doing.
hey, man, I really appreciate that. Well, listen, guys, this is going to conclude our interview. Anybody you want to send a shout out to, Brian?
Well, I'd love to send a shout out to Jessica. I can't wait to celebrate with you next week. I love you as always.
All righty. All right. Well, yeah, you know what? I'm going to send a shout out to my cat, Rico. My cat, Rico, believe it or not, unique and coincidentally, and it's common in cats, he suffers with kidney disease.
Yeah, I had
And
one the same.
yeah, and we've been feeding him the renal safe food and stuff, but he's felt ill again with it. I think some stones or something's going on with his bladder, and we've had to put him back into the vet. So if you're if you're a believer in prayer, say a little prayer for Rico, my cat. He's a really good therapeutic pet to me with dealing with what I've dealt with kidney disease. As a matter of fact, when I came home from transplant, he wouldn't leave me alone. He would stay by my side the whole time. So,
Yeah,
uh,
pets know. They have
yeah,
a
they do.
sense. They
They
do.
do. They do. So we're going to send good vibes and prayers to Rico that he'll fully recover. But guys, again, really appreciate everyone tuning in. I hope you guys have a blessed evening. Thanks again for watching Hope with Jonathan. Y'all take care. Take care of your kidneys. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, have you checked out Kidney Conversations, a new series brought to you by host Hope with Jonathan and KWM's Kidney Warrior merch, Kyle Hawkers from Toronto, Canada. Yes, it's a brand new series brought to you by us for you as the kidney patient. We're trying to inform, educate, and inspire by sharing and spreading awareness for kidney disease, dialysis, kidney failure, transplant, organ donation, and so much more. This is a brand new series, guys, brought to you by Hope with Jonathan and Kidney Warrior merch. What we're going to do is post weekly on our pages across social media. Right now it's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And then on Friday, we'll be releasing an informative video over on Hope with Jonathan. Check it out, guys. kidneyconversations.info.
Hey guys, I hope you really enjoyed that podcast with Brian Martindale, living kidney donor. What an incredible advocate. Really enjoyed that story. Really enjoyed listening to him and his passion for organ donation. Brian is incredible. Really appreciate him for coming on Hope with Jonathan. We need to have him back after he's done with this tour. But listen, guys, I really appreciate your support for Hope with Jonathan. Go check us out at hopewithjonathan.com. You can stream our live interviews over there. You can listen to audio podcasts straight from the website. Soon we're going to be streaming right to that website, so you'll be able to actually watch live interviews right on that website. Also, guys, there's merch over there if you'd like to support us. We're selling some t-shirts, some hats, toboggans over there. So all the proceeds go right back into Hope with Jonathan, and we really appreciate it. And again, guys, if you want to, go check us out at YouTube, Hope with Jonathan. We would definitely appreciate your subscription to it. It's completely free, and all you got to do is just hit the subscribe, and we would definitely appreciate you and welcome you right into our family. And again, check us out, hopewithjonathan.com. Hey, guys, appreciate you. God bless you. I hope you have a blessed week. God bless you. Take care. Spread love to everyone. It's completely free. And remember to take care of your kidneys. God bless. This is Jonathan.